Hey everyone, Chris with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Southeast Florida. We just pulled up to a storage unit we're going to be cleaning out. This was found to us by a repeat client that we had done a job for his business that he works at. All we did was remove a vending machine, and we were there for like 5 minutes. It was heavy, but it was like 5 minutes, and we had talked a little bit about in the future if they ever want to clean up the stuff around the back warehouse lot that they would give us a call. I never heard from him, but I remembered him. And he said one of my clients asked me to get rid of all the stuff in his storage unit because they do hazardous cleanup. So like they'll get hazardous chemicals, and I don't know the process, but they break it down and dispose of it. And he was like, if I do it, it's gonna be like $3,000. But we have a junk removal guy. Let me give you his number. So I came over, gave an estimate, and it was significantly less, obviously, because they're a hazmat company and we're just regular people. So this is a regular job. And we sent over the invoice and the guy was like, you're good to go. So that's what we're doing. I am here by myself though, because Tanya got a cortisone shot in her knee the other day. So she's resting for a couple of days because it's kind of stiff. So we're going to bang this out real quick by ourselves. Back to our solo days. Stay tuned for that. But we're gonna head in here, take one more look, decide how we want to do this, because I actually forgot I have a whole ass job in the back of this trailer that we weren't able to donate. We donated like 90% of a very heavy load we had for our previous storage unit job, but we didn't do anything yesterday, and I just dropped the trailer off the day before and I forgot it was all back there, and it's not like neatly back there, it's just kind of thrown in. So we're gonna have to reorganize it a little bit and then load this in. And this is going to be a lot of promotional material, so we likely aren't going to be donating it because the business closed down, but it should be a relatively easy job. So let's get to it. All right, parked a little far away because there was just a guy right here and he just left, but I don't feel like moving the truck again. So not too bad of a walk. Come right on inside here. This is one of those like faux AC indoor units. They charge you an indoor unit price, but realistically there's like one AC unit powering this entire building. So it's still kind of hot in here. It's just not as hot. And we have a padlock, which I don't think I've had a padlock since high school. Is it left, right, left? Does it tell you? I might have to Google that. I don't remember. I have the code, I don't remember how to use these. I know you start with 0. Let me figure this out first. I cannot get it open. I Googled how to do it, I'm doing it, and it's not working. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or if I have the code wrong, but I took a picture of it. I got it. So I had the instructions. Luckily, I took a picture of the combination and wrote it down. On Google, it says to turn it twice to the right. On the master lock, it says to turn it 3 times. I don't know if that matters, but it did make the difference with opening the lock. And I got bit by a mosquito being here while doing that. So that's great. Let's see what we got. Here we are. So, not a lot. Should be pretty quick. Like I said, a bunch of t-shirts, boxes. We'll keep, not all of them, but we'll keep some of them. The bubble wrap. Not keeping the peanuts because the cats will probably get into it. Metal cabinet we'll scrap. Table we'll probably end up throwing out. And then just a couple of small knickknacks. So I'm gonna get the speed pack and put all of the boxes and stuff into it because it's gonna be a little heavier. The cabinets, I'm probably just gonna leave the shirts on it, and I'm just gonna lift it up and stick a dolly under it and roll it right out to the truck. So that should be pretty easy. But let me show you what everything looks like. Here's the shirts. It's like one of those like sci-fi kind of things, which actually, I don't even think it has a company name on it. I know what his company name is. It doesn't say anything about it. We're gonna keep one. I don't mind this like kind of sci-fi stuff. I don't have a collection of it, but you know, I'm not opposed to it. There is a box in a box that's unopened, so we'll see what that is. And then here's one of the coffee bugs. So we'll keep 1 or 2 just for, you know, coffee, espresso. Well, we got hats too. So that must be the company name. Weekly World News. I don't know. And then, let's see. We got a little little booklet. Has fun facts, stories, it looks like. Oh, there's a book in here too. This is not the client who hired me though. The Gift of Fear, Survival Signals That Protect Us from Violence. I will bring one to my self-defense friend. You might like it. Let's see. And then these are the little aliens I was talking about. Maybe it isn't a stress ball. It kind of reminded me of one. But we'll put one in the truck just for fun. And kind of stick them up on the dashboard. Actually, DOT will probably pull me over for that. Yeah, if you don't know, I don't know if this applies to all vehicles when you have a DOT number or a commercial vehicle. But I know for moving, in the moving trucks, you can't have stuff in the dashboard because it causes a reflection and then it hinders your sight. So you can actually get pulled over for it. Like we would usually put the clipboards up there and stuff. You can't do that. So when we go to the weigh stations, when we travel out of state for long distance moves, you got to make sure you clear off the dashboard before you go in the weight station because they'll ticket you for it. So, oh, there's different shirts. I just noticed this. Farmer shoots 23-pound grasshopper. Thousands of gals want to marry Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy. Giant bug is 4 feet long. Huh. So yeah, this is definitely one of those, like, I don't know, you would call it like Fear Factor, like sci-fi things. There's a couple of different shirts though. We'll hang on to them. If anybody asks, I'll be like, I got it from Goodwill. You know, I don't know. But I was telling the client that hired us, not the client of the storage unit. He was like, yeah, we should just give these all to homeless people, and then everyone would just be sporting the same shirt just randomly throughout our city. We thought it'd be funny. All right, we're gonna get started. So yeah, this is pretty much everything that was left over from that job we had in the storage. So let's just go ahead and try and compact this as much as possible. All right, it's all packed in. See, not as much as it looked. It was just spread out weird. I'm actually gonna see if my scrapper wants this. It looks like it's more furniture than it is metal, but this is cast iron. It's actually pretty heavy. And I believe like when it just has a little bit of wood like this, it's okay. So I'm actually gonna see if he wants that. Now, I do technically have all day to do this. We're not doing anything else today besides going to that job later on. But what we are gonna be doing at 12 o'clock is go see The Accountant 2, which I'm super excited for. I loved the first movie. Felt like it resonated just a little bit. Not gonna go into details of why, but I really liked the first one. I'm excited for number 2. Today is the day it is out in movies, and we're gonna go see it. The reason we're going at 12 o'clock in the middle of the day is because we're business owners and we can, because we control our schedule. Unless a really important job comes in, then we'll go do it, of course. But for the most part, I have a massive pet peeve with movie theaters, with people who go on their phones on a bright ass screen in a dark theater when I am paying to see a movie. And on top of that, you get people that talk, and then you get the high school kids in the back of the theater that make sex noises. Me and Tanya saw like 4 movies like a year or 2 years ago, like in a span of like 2 months. And every single time we either had like a bunch of obnoxious people on their phones, either talking on the phone or just like next row in front of us, bright ass screen, or we had like high school kids in the back making weird noises, which like an occasional noise you can get past because you're watching a movie and it's usually loud. But when they're consistently doing it and then they're giggling about it, like we had one guy who tried to fight one of the kids and someone had to get security to come get them. And we had another time where this lady got up and left and came back, and security came to get these 3 kids out the back. And the guy was like, "Are you serious? Which one of you guys called them?" And the lady turned around, stood up and said, "I did." Bad words. And the kid was like all hostile and defensive, and I'm like, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious why. But yeah, man, you're paying for the movie. I don't want to listen to you moan in the back of the movie theater with your 3 friends when everyone's paying to see a movie for the first time. So like if it's a good movie and you're looking forward to it, and then they're over here ruining for you, you know, like, yeah, you can go watch the movie again, but the movie's ruined. You know, you're not going to be surprised anymore. It's not the first time, you know. So that's my rant again. But we're gonna get all of our equipment in here while there's nobody here, because this is all the big stuff that, like, if someone does come, it's much harder to navigate around. And I also don't want to leave my dollies out here, because I did notice a couple of homeless people sleeping in the back when I was here the other day. And I have had a dolly stolen before on a job site. I've also had something stolen out of my truck at a job site in somebody's freaking driveway, which is why it's such a habit for me to constantly lock my door. Even if I'm on a job site, I'm there coming in and out, I'll still lock my door, because people just don't care. And that sucked. So yeah, I'm very quick to lock my doors. Miscalculated how heavy these t-shirts are. I thought this thing was pretty well built. It's cracking every time I go to lift it. It's definitely just plywood thrown together. So I'm gonna have to alleviate a little bit more of the t-shirts and work on getting these things out of here. I need to drag them out first and then put them on the dolly, because they don't fit through the door when they're on the dolly, which very common problem actually to have. So that's why we carry drag pads with us, moving blankets. If this was like a house and I don't want to drag it on the floor, we would lay it on the pad and then slide it out of the door and then switch it to a dolly. So that way with the pad, you're losing those 4 to 6 inches that you would otherwise have with the dolly underneath it. So it helps with clearances when you have that issue. So like I mentioned, it's hot in here. AC unit my ass. It's not like hot like your sun's shining on you, but it's just as humid. If anything, it's actually a little worse. But we're gonna throw all this crap in the back. Have to kind of figure out what we're gonna do with the t-shirts. Probably just end up dumping them towards the front of the truck. These things are pretty much perfect squares, so they're just gonna go in the end of the trailer. I'm actually a little tight on space. I didn't think I'd have that problem. So we're gonna have to do some rearranging. But we're doing pretty good on time. I've only been here for like maybe 20 minutes, and I quoted this for 3/4 of a truck. So, and then I tacked in a little extra for the debris, because even though it's a wood cabinet, they're gonna charge me as debris, I promise you. So we're doing pretty good on time. I mean, I technically have an hour and a half to get this job done to still be within my window for labor, and I'm by myself. So we're doing all right. All right, these shirts make a lot more sense now, how heavy they are. When I'm handling them like this, even like a whole stack, it just feels like one book. But these are all like flat. There's probably like 50 of them here. It's a pretty heavy stack when you go to stick it on here. I didn't process that when I was giving the quote. But yeah, I was gonna keep these, at least one of these cabinets. I mean, it's good wood. I thought they were pre-made, and now that I can see they're just DIY'd. I might take my impact drill and just pop out the screws really quick and save one. Not necessarily for the cabinet anymore, but more for the plywood. Because the plywood's in good condition, at least some of the pieces are. But I can use them at home for something. Yeah, we're basically just loading up the trash can in small trips. I'm not gonna do it for all of them, but just enough to get this out without collapsing. So that's the game plan. There's like 10 people outside. All of a sudden, all these cars just came out of nowhere. Luckily, I'm not in anyone's way, but yeah, this thing's heavy. Yeah, you know, and it's kind of crazy too, because like I used to work in retail, and one of the aisles that they had were t-shirts, and I used to do replenishment like in the AM, and I don't remember t-shirt boxes being that heavy. That was also 10 years ago, so who knows. All right, we're gonna take apart one shelf, the one I've cleared the most of, because I don't think I can get both on there with the metal cabinet, and the metal cabinet is pretty heavy with all the shirts in it, and I don't wanna offload all those as well. So we're just gonna real quick do it with the impact drill. Should be pretty easy and quick with that. I already got my drill bit ready to go. So we'll bring this out, and then I'll just weigh out at the dump, because I'm not gonna get rid of everything in there. And we will, like, we're keeping all the boxes. It's a lot of boxes. I'm keeping all of those. Whatever's in the trailer, I'll get rid of. I can't keep all of them. That's a lot of space. But we did have a couple people on Facebook and Nextdoor recently that are asking for boxes for moving. And I always comment and say, I'll keep an eye out, but here's a few places you can go for free boxes. By the way, if you need to declutter, here's our number. It's one of our marketing comments. So what I may do is I'll reach out to those people and say, hey, I have a lot of small boxes if you need to pack up like glassware and things like that. And then there's a couple of mediums in there, but the majority of them are the small guys. But it's 3 boxes. So worst case, they may not. But if they say no thanks, I say, okay, no problem, good luck with your move. Again, if you need help decluttering, here's our information. So it doesn't hurt to try. I pretty much got this one emptied. So I'm just gonna move the bottom shelf to this one. Should be easy enough to move. And then we'll take this apart. I'll leave it out together. We'll slide it out, stick it on the dolly. After that, we're pretty much done. Just gonna sweep this place out, take pictures and leave. So let's get screwing. Well, that was a waste of 9 minutes, but at least we'll have plenty of room now. I won't have to sit there and move anything else around. So we're gonna bring out all the wood, put it off to the side. Gotta get this big metal cabinet in there. I am sweating, look at that, that's crazy. Fucking indoor AC units, my ass. Everyone left. So that's what we look like right now. I try to conserve some of the t-shirts, but now I'm just kind of annoyed with the taking apart the cabinet. So we're gonna put the cabinet in this one towards the front. I don't want it on the tail end of the trailer. And then the little cabinet will break, the one that broken down will stick next to it. The big one, I think they're 6 feet tall. They're the same height as me. but they don't look 6 feet wide. So I think I can just scoop it out sideways and push it in so it's like facing out, and I don't have to move anything else around. So that's what we're gonna do really quick, and then that'll be it. We're still doing good on time. I knew, even though I quoted 3/4 of a load, I knew it wouldn't take me as long as it would for 3/4 of a load, but I was expecting to be out here a little faster. So that kind of sucks, but fucking shit. So yeah, we're gonna grab this guy real quick and then we'll be out of here. All right, we are all done. We got the hallway swept up. Everything's in the stupid peanut bag. Unit is swept out. Here's the last cabinet. So I was in fact right, this is shorter width-wise. So it went out of the unit just fine on the dolly. We'll take it out, stand it up in the truck. I have a trash can full of t-shirts. I'm actually gonna have to pile into there because I am like 4 inches too short to get it in there. So the job definitely took a little longer than I thought it was gonna take. I did not think I'd have to take that apart. Did not think those t-shirts weigh that much. So still, everything's, you know, within budget and whatnot, but just not as easy as I thought it'd be. So basically, just gonna stick that thing at the end, and then I'll have the shelves facing me, and I'll shove all of that in one of the shelves. That's everything. So we're actually gonna go ahead and go to the movies now. All right, we're all bungeed. What I basically just try to do is pull this down so something doesn't fly up and out. So like, I'm not worried about the wood, it's not gonna go anywhere, but if I had like a box of loose items in it, or these t-shirts were all sitting right here, I would wanna pull this down a little bit, or at least just run bungees up and down to help prevent the voids and the extra spaces to have stuff come out. So that's why I have so many bungees. I literally have like 50 to 75 bungees at any given time. Kind of exaggerating, but also kind of not. So not worried about this, but usually if I have something back here, I'll pull it down and clip it to my trailer. Otherwise, everything else should be good. We got the stretchy cargo net back here. This thing's been working out awesome. And my sides have been working out really well too. So super happy about all of that. And that's it. So now we're gonna head out of here. I got the pictures and we'll send them to the client.